Welcome to We Don't Have Cookies, where possibilities are possible. Here's your host, Jason Marshall.
Hey everybody, I want to start off by thanking all of the people who downloaded the last episode. It was by far the most successful episode I've ever had, and it's all because of you guys. You did an amazing job sharing the show and getting the word out. Thank you very, very much, and please keep it up. The first regular episode of the podcast third year is with the person who was on the very first episode of the podcast ever. It's the one and only Mama Kate. So how you doing?
Horrible. Tragic. Life's awful.
Didn't you just come off a vacation?
That's exactly.
Is that why?
Actually, I'm quite happy to be back from vacation. We had our 6 kids, plus 3 of their friends, plus the 2 of us. The house we stayed in was 2 bedrooms.
Damn.
For 11 people. There was no cable, no Wi-Fi. So, yeah.
That is a lot to take in.
Yeah, it's a panic attack in a bag. That's what it is.
How long were you there?
1 week, 7 days.
Jesus. That's almost like Survivor.
It is when kids are so used to being tuned in.
Yeah.
The pool only occupied the pool and the lake. You know, it's like they would go to the pool in the morning, they go to the lake in the evening, and that's only fun so many days in a row.
Well, for new listeners, you've been on, I looked it up before you got here, over 30 times in the last 2 years.
30 times in the last 2
Over
years.
30 times.
Over 30 times.
Yeah. And by that, I mean 31.
This is 31? This is 31?
No, I think it's like 33 to 35, depending. Somewhere in that range.
I thought you said you counted.
I did, but I don't know if some things count. Like the first Diesel show. You got up and you kind of introed the show and handed it over to Mike.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that really counts as an appearance, but technically it does, so it just depends what people want to go with.
Yeah, I guess.
That's more than anybody else, that's for sure.
I think it's just because I live the closest to you. So it's easy for you to call me and be like, hey, Kate, you got time to do a show? But I've noticed as you've met more people, I've come on less and less.
I don't know. March was Mama Kate Appreciation Month.
That's true, but was it just last week where you had all your international guests?
Yeah.
So.
But you were on that show too.
We're not even in different counties.
The person who was on the second most, I've mentioned this before, is Mike Canistero.
Mm-hmm. And
I wanted to talk about this story with him, but the next time I have him down to come on the show is in November, so we might as well just talk about it now, and me and him can talk about it later. After the show was over, I've always said there's some weird shit happens in this house, right?
Yeah.
When the show was over, we're just sitting around talking. I'm facing him. I can see the stairway in my peripheral vision.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, this balloon just starts coming down the stairs.
Wow.
It came out of my kid's room.
Yeah.
And I can kind of see it. My kid said that it was in the back of her room under a bed because it was a balloon that she kept from cheer camp.
Oh, wow.
So she was trying to save it and make sure it didn't get popped and all this shit. So it just comes straight down the stairway.
Yeah.
I could see if maybe a window was open or something, but at the same time, it looks like it would have just blown into the next room instead of take a 90-degree turn and go down the steps.
Come down the steps.
But not only did it do that, it came right into the middle of the room, right there before it stopped.
Stopped and looked at you?
That's some weird shit. To the point where Mike asked me if somebody was here.
Yeah.
Because he thought somebody was just messing around. And I said no, and he asked me if I wanted to check. So I go upstairs, I start to look around, and on my way up, he's like, hey man, where's your phone, just in case? That was the weirdest damn thing that's happened in a long time here.
Yeah. When was that? When was Mike here?
Just a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, I thought so. And like I said, I can see it coming down the stairs. I can see it coming a little ways past the steps too, because it's still in motion. It's got to take a while to stop. But to come halfway into this room.
Was your mom a big fan of science?
I don't know.
Because Mike is the science guy.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe this is her way of being like, I want to say hello. Because, I mean, a balloon does signal, like, friendliness. I mean, nobody's attacking with a balloon. You know, like, I know what I'll do. This will scare the crap out of them.
Have you ever seen a balloon and got angry?
No.
Me either.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a sign of friendship.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it. It's pretty obvious, but it's one of those things where, yeah, if anybody's going to send a friendly hello, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
With a tie-dyed balloon
Exactly.
in the middle of the room.
You're like, hey, it's a little freaky, but cool balloon, man.
Speaking of my kid, I didn't know this, but apparently I'd logged into her computer to get on Twitter. Mm-hmm. I didn't know. God knows how long it's been. It had to be 6 to 8 months ago.
So you were posting on your daughter's Twitter?
No, she was posting on mine.
Oh.
And I had no idea. I was updating the website for the 2-year anniversary. Mm-hmm. And if anybody wants to go, it's slightly changed. You can go to WeDon'tHaveCookies.com, check it out. But I have a thing on the website that shows my Twitter feed. Mm-hmm. And on there was posts saying, I vote for Jake Paul for something, something, something. It's like some kid's award show. Yeah. And I saw 3 of them. And I thought, well, that's kind of a weird thing to have on my timeline. Yeah. I know I didn't tweet that. And I just thought, well, maybe it's a generic thing that they showed how my timeline's going to look on the computer or something. I go to my Twitter account and
there it is.
It's there. Yeah. And I thought I got hacked. Please, I couldn't figure out why anybody would hack the account.
Please.
People's accounts get hacked all the time for stupid shit.
Jason's just trying to cover because he didn't know that his votes were automatically going to tweet to his account.
So I'm in the middle of changing my password. Mm-hmm. I go ahead and I look this guy up. And I realize, oh, that's the dude that my kid's always talking about from YouTube.
Oh.
So I call my wife and I'm like, hey, I don't know what's going on with your kid because she's your kid now. Now that I'm pissed,
nothing to do
she's
with
your
this
kid. My kid was like, well, I just got on Twitter and I went and tweeted this. And I said, well, you don't have a Twitter account. Didn't you think it's kind of strange that you were just able to...
That you could just get on Twitter and it would start tweeting for you.
Yeah. That's what happened. And it was kind of embarrassing, man.
Sure, Jason.
Just people out there just like, oh, who's this Jake Paul guy? Go check him out. Wait. It's some Disney star.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that guy?
Is it the guy who is a YouTube star who was on the show Bizarrevark, who just, him and Disney just parted ways?
It might be because I just noticed the show you were talking about was on the DVR in the front room.
Yeah.
So that's probably him.
Yeah. He's a YouTuber who I've seen before just because I have so many kids and they make me watch stuff. They're like, I want you to watch this. I'm like, no, I don't want to watch Stampy build any more freaking Minecraft houses. Thank you. But it seems like he's in his 20s and he's starring on a Disney show as like one of their funny side characters on one of their shows. So I can see why they would part ways. 20-something-year-old YouTuber isn't really... like Disney doesn't exactly want their 12 and 11-year-old target audience to go check him out on YouTube because then they're, liable for what he might be talking about or saying on there.
Well, I noticed recently, it's really weird that this came up, but there was a hashtag trending saying the party's over Jake Paul or something like that. Oh, man, that's kind of a strange time for all this to tie in together.
Yeah. Party's over.
And there was a video of a guy who was scared by his daughter that's went viral. He was on Twitch. He was playing some horror game, and he didn't realize that his little kid walked into the room. I think she's like 16 months old or something. And a crow flies across the screen, and then she tugs on him, and he screams. He picks his kid up and asks if she's all right, because apparently when he screamed, she must have fell over or something. That was great. Have you seen that one?
No.
I'll have the video up on the website, but it was really funny. And he won a Guinness Book World Record for the most views on Twitch.
What's Twitch? Clearly I'm missing something.
It's a It's a live streaming platform for like video games and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
I just thought it was weird that they're giving out world records.
It's like my son who watches videos of somebody watching videos of somebody playing a video game. Like, what is this? It's an unending stream of somebody watching somebody play video games.
And you can follow me on Twitch. It's WDHC Podcast. I've been live streaming there for the last few days. And you can join the Podcast X-Book Live Club. It's We Don't Have Cookies. It's all one word. If you're into video games, be sure to check out Boss Boxes. It's a monthly video game subscription box. From console gaming boxes to PC boxes. They have what you're looking for. They have new merchandise from the biggest gaming brands delivered right to your doorstep every month. Just visit bossboxes.store and use coupon code WDHC at checkout. You get 10% off. And we're going to take a quick break. The segments this week are BS Facts with Beej, Fake Advice for New Comics with Dave Nelson, and a song by somebody I have not decided on yet.
G'day, Beej here from the BS Pod. Did you know the average size of a monkey's brain is in fact the size of a monkey's brain? Like, you would, some of this shit, you just wouldn't buy it. It's never going to happen.
Geek a Week is a deck of cards with a geek for every week of the year. And on the back are some facts about each geek. But there's just not much room on the back of a trading card. There wasn't enough space for everything. Some things got left off. So here's one more fact about each geek that didn't make it onto their card. Amanda Palmer always has a frog in her pocket. Yuri Lowenthal snores in the key of A. Pendleton Ward has a tattoo of his arm on his arm. Jason Finn conceived and born on the very same day. Mike Selinker snacks unpacking peanuts. Max Temkin writes Nebraska's wrongs. Phil Amar reenacts the Battle of the Sexes. And Young Fogerty writes Katy Perry songs. Sumali Montano exercises deviled eggs. Night Attack compete in synchronized knitting. Chloe Dykstra has a robot army on order. Josh Hagan ate a chicken leg right where you're sitting. Patrick Rothman lost a tooth in a poker game. Janie Haddad makes birds. Frank Ippolito will yawn in about 10 seconds. Hal Lublin 2 words uses words. G-W-K-A-W-W-K G-W-K-O-W-W-K G-W-K-A-W-W-K G-W-K-A-A-A-A. Only 36 left. Here we go. John Kovalik celebrates the Jovian New Year. The double clicks like their sushi fried. Kelly Sugikani is on a geek-themed trading card. Steve Sansweet is offside. Tara Platt sleeps in a top hat instead of a bed. Sarah Lane was raised by lambs. Michael B. Johnson cloned himself on a triple dog dare. Mikey Newman never pays for yams. Babak Verdosi rides to work on a Roomba. Tara Theo Harris keeps a penguin as a pet. Patrick Scott Patterson sneezes in multiples of 30. Drew Curtis can burp the Chinese alphabet. Ryan Panagos likes awkward silences. Ben Acker would never use the same line twice. Ben Blacker would never use the same line twice. G-W-K-A-W-W-K G-W-K-O-W-W-K G-W-K-A-W-W-K G-W-K-A-A-A. Scott Johnson hides Sharpies. Claire Grant plays the lute. Ming-Na Wen hunts harpies. Crab Cat Harry Knowles has a mascot. Heath Faker tried the veal. Jeff Lewis wears an ascot. Scott Sigler isn't real. Adam Cofer rides in cargo. Jen Whedon eats plastic. Teal Sheriff found in Fargo. Kid Beyond is elastic. Clark Gray owns an Arby's. Chris Stroud has a tail. Ryan Ibbett fixes Barbies. Mark Miller speaks Braille. To hear this song in its entirety, keep listening. Sean Becker is the son and son of a Kim Evie is the daughter and daughter of a Greg Benson is the and of a John Roderick is the other in one of a kind. James Urbani shies away from introversion. Marissa Tencherowen has a rib made of wood. Jason Charles Miller has a pair of underwear named Gary. And Wheaton takes the shot and it's good. G-W-E-K-A-W-W-E-K, G-W-E-K-O-W-W-E-K, G-W-E-K-A-W-W-E-K, Geek a Week.
And now, Comedy A Go-Go presents Fake Advice for New Comics.
Always feel free to run the light at your local open mic if you're crushing it.
Hey guys, let us know what you think of the show. Send an email to jason@wedon'thavecookies.com or call 929-266-9342 and leave a voicemail.
I quit smoking
Oh, did you? How's that going?
August 1st.
Yeah?
Good. Well, yesterday was a little rough.
Yeah.
Like yesterday was one of those like, I hate all of you kind of days. And then last night I broke about 10 o'clock. I was like, fuck it, I'm getting a pack of cigarettes. And I went and I bought a pack. I opened them and I started smoking one. And I was like, what the hell am I doing? I haven't smoked in 3 days. I'm going to just do this now? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So I took the cigarettes to my cousin's house and dropped them off at her house. Left them on her car. Like, here's a pack of cigarettes for you.
There you go.
It's almost kind of freeing because when you're a smoker, it's like, I don't want to go to the movies. I don't want to have to sit 2+ hours, without a cigarette chain. I can't get up. I don't want to even go into the kids' games. Like, as soon as it was over, I'm like, I don't want to stand around and chat. I got to go because I got to go smoke a cigarette. We're at family functions. But actually, see, that's the problem now because I use cigarette as a way to, like, get away from people, like, go outside.
It was an extra break at work, too.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how that works, but you always got to go outside to smoke if you needed to, and nobody gave two shits.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody else got 2 breaks a day. You got 5.
Yeah, if you were like, hey, I just want to go stand outside for 5 minutes, and you're like, fuck you, get back to work, But somehow
so lazy.
Like, I want to go kill myself for 5 minutes. And bring myself it's like a slow suicide, basically. I'm just slowly killing myself.
Did you ever
paying a lot of money to do it?
Did you ever have Harley Davidson cigarettes?
No.
Man, they were the best fucking cigarettes in the world. I still got a pack of them in my freezer. I held on to them.
I don't remember such a thing ever existing.
Yeah, I might do a Periscope
older than
about
me,
that.
Though. We're the same age, aren't we?
I think so. I was just bad before you.
Yeah, I didn't start smoking until I was 16, so I guess, I don't know when, you were buying Harley Davidson cigarettes. But.
Yeah, I would go to the smoke shop. That's about the only place you could find them, though. All right, I forgot to mention that I was a guest on the show Answers for Real Men with Coach Arnie a few weeks ago. It was unlike any show that I've been on, and it was a pretty real look into my life. And I'll have a link to that in the show notes. I feel bad that I never brought that up, so I want to give him a shout out. And there's some clicking in the beginning, but it doesn't last that long, so just power through that. It's not a big deal. And another shout out to the guys over at Cave Crew Radio. I was a guest on their show Thursday, and I'll have a link to that in the show notes too. The show's called Milk in a Bag and No Cookies. We talked about bagged milk in Canada and the UK, and quite frankly, how weird that me and Brian thought that was. And DK and Choo Choo Stew had to try to defend their countries.
Yeah.
Because that's fucking weird. I'm sorry. I know we got people listening in both of those countries, but I can't comprehend that. Just going to the store and how do you put that in the refrigerator? It gets low and you just set it on because with us, we just get a gallon of milk. It comes in a jug. We typically put it on the bottom shelf of your fridge. You put a bag of milk on the bottom shelf of your fridge, it just like spreads out.
Yeah.
But I
do wonder about that, but do they put it in something else? Like they have a milk container that they put it into?
Yeah, they got little containers that they put the bag in.
Down on waste.
Yeah, it just seems very weird that you would take an extra step. Just buy a jug of milk and be done with it.
I'm sure they have their reasons.
Yeah, and we went over all of those, so make sure you check that out. Also, you were on there not that long ago.
Yeah, but it was, we had some problems because...
Yeah, because Choo Choo Stew sent me a message. He was like, Mama Kate's coming on. So I tried to check it out.
Yeah, I was on, but I wasn't, first of all, I wasn't planning on. The show started at 9, and I think at like 9:04, Choo Choo messaged me like, here's the link. Can you come on the show? And I'm like, when? He's like, now. Like, Okay, well, I've already put my pajamas on at this point. Had already taken my bra off. I'm like, shit, I'm going to have to get redressed. Okay, fine. So
and just real quick for people listening, it is a video show. When they send you a link, if you have a webcam, they prefer that. I'm never on video. I don't have a webcam. But just to make sure people know why you're getting dressed for a show. That's why. They're going to see her.
Yeah.
So don't think that's weird.
I'm like, all right, fine. I get dressed, but I have to get away from everybody. I'm in a house with 6 kids. I can't just sit in my living room, and have a conversation with somebody. So I go up to the bedroom, but the Wi-Fi it's about as far from our modem as it gets at our house. So the signal keeps dropping it. So I'm like, all right, I have to go outside. So I call him back. This time I'm outside, but I'm in the dark. So after I lost him again, I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'll do it sometime when I can plan it and have it set up and ready. I'm like walking around with my phone, trying to do this.
It did look like something from the Blair Witch movie.
Yeah, I know. I didn't have anywhere to put my phone down at, so I got to hold it in my hand. I just was not prepared to do that at that time.
Stu was really drunk that day, so it was a pretty entertaining show. Yeah, he was really lit.
I guess I missed that part. I don't know. He seemed like regular.
The longer the show went, by the end, he couldn't even say her name right. It was funny.
Well, he had 6 hours ahead of us.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're doing the show at 9:00, it's 3 a.m., in London. So I think it should be a little bit forgiven. He can't keep his shit together at 3 a.m. I mean, that is the reasonable time to be piss-ass drunk, right?
Yeah. That was
I think
always
people
my
just
special
assume
time.
if you're up at 3 a.m. that you're drunk. That's really... Why else would you be up at 3 a.m.?
Especially for that show.
Yeah.
Because it just kind of caters to that anyway, so why not be drunk?
It's a guy's show.
Yeah. Stu's so funny on that show. The drunker he gets, it's just that much better because they really give him a hard time as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then the drunker he gets, the less he can say words. It was great, though.
Borderline anyway. Because one night he was talking about there was some place where they had free panels. And I spent I missed the rest of the story because I'm just trying to figure out if he meant free panels or 3 panels. Do you mean panels without costs? Like there's some place where you can get these panels for free? Or are you saying that there are 3 panels somewhere that you're going to get? So then I missed the rest of it because I couldn't.
But we love Stu. I don't want it to seem like we're bashing him. He's a great guy.
Well, no, I asked
really
him the
funny.
other day. I'm like, living without teas must be really hard. How do people know what you're saying?
I wish he lived closer to here because during the break we were talking about how I don't want to have a garden. And Stu goes off to a place called The Allotment where all he does is garden. And I thought, man, I wish you lived here. I'd just give you a space in my yard. You throw me a couple carrots my way. Go at it, man. All right. Well, we're going to do a little segment called This or That. It's a this or that scenario from our friends over at the This or That podcast. You can look them up on iTunes. I'll have a link to them in the show notes. Usually there are scenarios. Like, would you rather eat boogers or some other choice? This one is one of those things that people have debated for a very long time.
Uh-huh.
Who do you like better, Batman or Superman? And it's not who do you think would win in a fight, just who do you like the best?
I'm going to say something that's probably sacrilegious, but I don't give a shit about comic book characters. I don't care about, I mean, I guess I'd have to probably pick Batman just because he seems darker and more mysterious, I guess, than the good old boy Superman. I'm like, who would I rather hang out with? I'm like, I'd rather pick a needle with Batman and I'd annoy the shit out of him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking is Batman would be cooler to be around.
Yeah.
And he does have a more of an edge to him. And
yeah.
Superman's just cut and dry. It's all good. There's no...
Yeah.
I don't think you could do anything fun. He wouldn't put you on his back and fly you around or somewhere just for shits and giggles. He'd warn you of the dangers of, at these speeds, if a fly hit you, it'd be like somebody shooting you. And you
Yeah.
couldn't.
He wouldn't go like beat up the guy who used to pick on you or anything.
Yeah.
nothing worthwhile.
You could see Batman doing that if you got him drunk enough.
Yeah. He might even suggest it. He'd be like, do you have someone that you hate?
And I'm almost positive he would let you try out every gadget and drive the car.
Yeah.
You can't do that with Batman.
I
He's
feel like
not
there's
letting you
just
put the
too
cape
many, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the only ones that I like is Chris Pratt in Guardians of the Galaxy because he's such a fuck up. Like, I like the fact that he's just this smart ass guy but it's not even necessarily superhero. The rest of them, like, I don't care. I'm just not into it.
That's the one I haven't seen yet.
Oh, really? Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
But I like Chris Pratt. I find him adorable, and I loved him on Parks and Rec.
He was really good in Jurassic Park. In Parks and Rec, yeah, he was good in that too.
Another movie I hate is Jurassic Park.
The new one, or I guess the last one was Jurassic World, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Well, the first time that I ever smoked pot, we were on vacation at the very same place that we went to vacation last time. It's the same place we go on vacation every year with my family. And it used to be a Methodist church camp that has now become like this family vacation spot. But it's still no alcohol, still religious, Christian-based faith group, whatever. They have a movie theater in there, and they only show one movie, and at the time it was Jurassic Park. Well, my sister and her boyfriend were up at the lake with us, and they're like, hey, do you want to go for a ride? And I'm like, oh my God, my sister's so fucking cool, and her boyfriend's even cooler. And they just invited me to go hang out with them. Of course I'm going to go, you know? Like, I'm 16, never smoked pot. I think I'd seen it exactly once. We drive out of the place into the fields. Elliot pulls over, and he starts rolling a joint, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, this is gonna happen. Like, I can't be a chicken shit. You know, I'm gonna smoke pot. And to me, in my mind, it's like equivalent to shooting heroin. You know, like,
there's no coming back from this.
Yes, exactly. This is
my life has changed.
Yes,
forever.
the rest of my life starts today. So I did. I got high with them, and of course, I'm just like, and we go back to Lakeside. And they're like, we have to go to the movies because we've told your parents we're going to the movies. They're bringing your little brother to meet us at the movies to go to it with us. We can't just leave you high wandering around this place by yourself. You have to come with us. I'm like, I don't want to go to Jurassic Park. They're like, dude, if you go to Jurassic Park with us, we will get donuts afterwards. And I'm like, what? Donuts.
There you go.
Okay. I could sit through it. I know I could have just gone and bought myself a donut, but for some reason. So I went and saw Jurassic Park while I was stoned for the very first time. And it was intense, and I hate that movie. Like, I hate it. Like, whenever I see it, I get that, like, panicky, I can't breathe feeling, you know, and you're like really stoned. And you're like, just keep breathing. Just keep breathing. Like, you're not dying. You're not dying. You're just really high. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. But I didn't know that. Like, I didn't even know enough to have that conversation with myself, you know? I'm just in straight, I'm going to fucking die. I'm going to die in this movie theater.
No one's going to know because they're all watching the movie. No one's going to see
then
me
my
for another
sister's
hour.
going to have to explain that her and her boyfriend got me high. Then my little brother's here, and what kind of example are we setting for him?
My parents are going to be so ashamed I overdosed on pot.
So, anyway.
Well, that's funny you brought that up because that's something I wanted to talk about. There's a marijuana company. Mm-hmm. It's a grow operation. Bought an entire town in Arizona.
Yeah.
And they're turning it into some marijuana mecca.
I would love to go live there. I'll go work for them. I'll help you promote. I'll do whatever you want. Like, really, if I could just, yeah, that would be a life calling.
I looked it up, and it looks like this town, I'm hoping I read this wrong because it doesn't seem like a town could be this small, but it's 128 acres. And that seems awful small to be a town.
Yeah.
But
well, actually, one of my husband's cousins lives out there. Well, they live in Las Vegas, but for whatever reason, wherever she goes on a somewhat regular basis, she drives through there. Because she's like, I've driven through this town. I've stopped at their gas station. She's like, I don't know what they mean by a ghost town. She's like, there's a gas station there. So
I think it said it spent $5 million on it.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty good price.
For 128 acres?
Yeah. They're going to put 2.5 into rebuilding it.
See, I think about how much land is here in Ohio, and I'm like, that's not very much for 128 acres, but it's 128 acres of fucking desert. Like, it's not 128 acres of farmland, you know?
Yeah. Well, my father-in-law, his house is on, I think it's 68 acres. So in my head, I keep thinking this entire town is twice as big as my father-in-law's place.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem right, but
it's like
I guess it could.
As big as a college campus. Be like the size of Wittenberg.
If you had
Wittenberg is.
If you had your own marijuana town, what would you put in it? It'd have to be a pizza shop, right?
Oh, well,
there's got to be that.
Is it? I mean, are they growing their own marijuana there as well, or is it just? That's what I would be interested in, is the horticultural side of it. But God, what would I mean? Yeah, of course you'd have to have a pizza shop and a bakery and.
Yeah, you'd have to have some place for like tacos and stuff too.
The problem would be getting a regular pizza place and a regular bakery. Like, look, I can't eat any more pot brownies. I just want to eat a regular brownie. Okay? Where can I get just a regular brownie?
Yeah. You'd have to have a movie theater, obviously.
Would you?
Yeah, I think you'd have to have one of those.
I don't know, because...
Especially if it's friendly to that.
I was going to say, they would have to let people smoke in there, and they wouldn't be able to do that. I don't know what their laws are there. It all comes down to the laws. But, because, in Ohio, it wouldn't matter if you owned the town and said people could smoke in there. The state of Ohio says people can't smoke in there, so they wouldn't be allowed to smoke in there.
They could just gas you.
Yeah. Because really... it's hard to, unless you're eating a brownie and go to the movies, it's hard to get high enough for it to last through a whole movie, So, or if you could work an intermission in, be like, all right, now's the time for you guys to go all smoke, in the courtyard and come back and we'll finish the movie. But the problem is it'd be 45 minutes later, everybody still be out in the courtyard.
Well, there you go. You sell 2 tickets. Because at intermission, everybody goes outside.
Yeah.
They forget that the movie started. They don't come back in time, but they do want to see the end of the movie, so they have to buy another ticket so they can come back later.
Yeah, for the second half. Yep.
That's a good idea. That leads us to this week's Dumbass of the Year. It was a Dutch man who was arrested for driving with 2 stolen lampposts on his car.
Stolen lampposts?
Yeah.
Now, did he actually steal the lamppost, or did he hit the lamppost? They just happened to stay attached to the car. Because I don't know if that really counts as stealing.
Yeah, he had them tied to the top of his car. They were just like street lights. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you think you're going to get away with that.
Well, kudos to him for being able to get these street lights down.
Yeah.
And attached to the top of his car. I gotta say, he wasn't working alone on this one.
Yeah.
There's no one man who's heaving these up. Like, literally, there's an operation.
Right.
It's like, well, what are you gonna do with them? You can put them outside of your house on the lawn. They're not gonna fit in your house unless you have enormous ceilings.
And these things are like 2 to 4 times the size of his van that he's driving them with. I don't know where he thought he was going to go. I would like to know what the plan was, though. I want to know if he's putting them outside his house.
There, like, he's at home and he's like, you know what? Fuck these motherfucking streetlights. I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe they're like outside of his house and he's like, I hate these streetlights. I'm trying to sleep. So he went and chopped them down and was going to go bury him somewhere. Get rid of the evidence. Or maybe he's going to plant it at his mother-in-law's house. And
I like that idea.
The bitch is going to jail.
Well, before we get out of here, is there anything that you want to plug? All right. That's it for Mama Kate. Make sure you follow her at Mama Kate on Twitter. I want to thank you for coming on.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
All right. I want to thank Mama Kate for coming on the show. You can follow her on Twitter at Mama Kate Comedy. I am at Jason Marshall and the number 2. I'll have links to both of those in the show notes. The months of Jason are in full swing. For new listeners, the months of Jason are July, August, September, October, and November, because the first initial in those months spell my name. In July, I talked to people who were important to the show in the past, leading up to the 2-year anniversary. In August, I will be talking to all of your favorite guests and the new additions to the show. If it's your first time listening to the show, please be sure to subscribe. The podcast is available on iTunes, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and anywhere podcasts are available. Thursday, I'll be back with Benny Mac to crown a Dumbass of the Year for July. I'll talk to you then.
Thanks for listening. Tell your friends about the show and leave a review. See you next time.
I've noticed as you've met more people, I've come on less and less.